All rise for the pledge. I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Clerk, please call the roll.
Councilman Alvarez.
Here.
Councilwoman Eckhart.
Here.
Councilman Larker.
Here.
Councilman Lord.
Here.
Supervisor Hay.
Here. Notations of the exits in front and rear in electronic device. Please put it on vibrate. I make a motion to come out of the executive session. No action was taken.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
I make a motion to open the work session portion.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
First item is discussion, Chapter 71, blasting permit insurance and requirements. I provided you some additional backup that came in after the agenda was put together, and you have one piece here prior to that, okay? Lynn, you have the most comments on it, all good suggestions, so why don't you take the lead?
The code changes that I thought are important to explore. I spent last weekend going through other towns' blasting codes, and it was a very exciting weekend for me. But I first wanted to discuss, and I think this was part of it from the beginning, the notification distance from the blasting site. That ranges from about 400 to 1,000 feet in different codes, so we would be discussing that, as that was the original intent, I think, of revising our code. Hours of operation, I would suggest that we change these to basically our town hours. That way, if there was blasting that people were unaware of or called, we'd have an opportunity to get back to the constituent who had concerns about the blasting. In other words, we'd know a lot more about it. We could talk to, Michael Levine's office, and we'd know what was going on. Also, I know summer hours are different, so we could discuss this as well.
Now, when you say that, you say suggest the same hours as the current Southeast 10 hours, you're saying like we open at 9 o'clock in the morning, not to blast before 9?
Yeah, it's very common actually in other towns. It's not uncommon to not blast before then.
Well, but you're talking during the week.
Yes, well, the other thing I'm going to suggest is that we don't have currently we don't allow blasting on Sunday, but
Oh,
on
I don't have a problem with that, but.
Saturday, Sunday, and legal holidays. And no, this is all up for discussion. I don't know how the rest of the board feels on this yet. It was just my suggestion that if it was coordinated with town, it could be earlier in the morning. A lot of towns don't like it earlier in the morning because there are people who are retired or whatever and don't get up that early. But all of this is totally only suggestions. So
Okay,
all of this will be,
I'm going to suggest 8 to 5.
okay. I think might be what it is now. Yeah,
Monday
currently
through-
we're 8 to
Monday through
5.
Friday, no holidays, no Saturday, no Sundays.
Okay. Yeah, we're currently 8 to 5.
Yeah, I would leave it that way.
Okay. We do, as I said, currently we're only Sunday, so we could increase that. Insurance, which was part of this before, would be raised to $1 million with the $2 million $2 million aggregate. It's currently $500,000 and $1 million. A pre-blast meeting with the building inspector, which could be waived by the building inspector. I talked to Michael Levine briefly about this, and I'm not sure, he didn't seem to care too much one way or the other, but I can talk to him again. It's just, as I said, I'm just throwing it out there. And I think on definition of explosives, and I defer to Will on this as well, but we may want to add a few definitions, and I haven't gotten into Phillipstown has a very good code on this. They might have more than we want, but I can get those all out to you so you could see. Our notices now must be sent not more than 30 days nor less than 72 hours. I think this is a really good part of our code, so I would suggest that stay the same. But if everyone goes through our code and they find something that they like very much or that they don't like, I would encourage them to do that so we can come up with the best changes possible, or no changes at all, whatever the majority feels is best. North Salem has which I wrote down here too, North Salem has a pretty good code. And some towns don't seem to have a code at all.
You have a mention here of Kent concerning the pre-blast meeting?
They have that in their code at 38-3. 13.
Were there other towns that also did, or was Kent the only one?
Kent is the one I wrote down, and I didn't research every single one and then go look back. I kind of cherry-picked what I liked out of different towns. I don't believe Kent was the only town, but I don't know. And that's something, as I said, that we could put in, but the building inspector could waive it.
And were the permits on a monthly basis, or were they?
That I
think
didn't see.
I noticed that we're getting notices every month
Right.
from one person who's doing blasting, and they seem to do it every month, so I'm just wondering if that's what's in our code.
I would assume that's what's in the code now, and that's why they renew it monthly.
Yeah.
Is that right, Tony?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
So those are just, I was charged with looking into it. This is what I've come up with so far. But, and it will have a public hearing. But I'd like everyone to look this over, fine tune it. We can put it on the agenda the next meeting if you'd like. I just don't want to put it off too long because things kind of get lost in translation. So,
Okay, so basically, the next meeting on the work session, we'll post it again.
okay.
We made a suggestion to 8 to 5, which it currently is.
Yep.
You can look up these other pre-locations if you want, okay? I don't know if we necessarily need that, especially with the building inspector. And the original one that came forward, which is the backup work session number 1 label, that seemed to be okay as well. This one here, Lynn, the original one?
Oh, yes, that's fine. That's in our
Because we
code
already
now.
discussed that earlier.
Yep.
So,
I would
I guess
definitely,
one thing we have to decide on, and I think the last time we took a poll on this, it was 750 to 1,000 feet. Right now you have 400
Right.
to 1,000.
those are the ranges at different towns.
Okay, so we had said, we had discussed here 750 to 1,000. I'd like to put that back on the table
Yeah.
again.
That's fine by me.
Same hours, of course, now it's going to be 8 to 5.
It
No,
still
how-
is 8 to 5,
No,
so
I
it'll
know, but,
stay.
yeah,
Yep.
we're going to leave it.
Yep.
8 to 5. No
Monday through
holidays, no weekends.
Right,
And the insurance, I believe we agreed upon earlier on.
I think so, yeah.
If Michael Levine's not interested in the,
Yeah, I'm not interested in the pre-blasting meeting. I think if it's noticed well enough, but,
Oh, the meeting, by the way, is only between the building inspector and, it does
Right,
not,
right.
it's not a public hearing.
No.
no, I understand that, but I just think it's an unnecessary step. If they have a permit and it's noticed properly, but again, if it's up to him, then it's up to him, but
so let's knock that one out.
Okay,
Now, when it comes to definition of explosives, I have no problem adding that to it with definitions.
okay,
So you want to provide that?
okay.
I don't
I'll
really
work on
think there's a need to put it back on a work session again. Just give us the definitions.
it. Okay,
And then we'll put it to a public hearing. We won't set it tonight, but the next meeting, we'll set the public hearing for it.
okay.
I guess then we have to finalize the feet, because you can't just say 750 to 1,000 feet, because then it becomes
Well,
subjective.
no,
yeah,
so
we'll
the
have
next
to
meeting
say
we'll put
it's
on-
750 or 1,000.
So there's only 2 things we have to basically
Right.
look at, definition and the number of feet,
Right, which we can discuss at the next meeting, get it all ironed out.
and then set the public hearing.
Yeah,
Okay.
and we'll need the verbiage, obviously, for the
Okay.
changes.
So if we have a public hearing and the public wants to have,
Well, we have to identify what we are proposing, then we can listen to the public, and if we need to make a change, we make the change accordingly.
okay, so, but if we come out with what we want to do and the public says that they want to have something else added, will we then consider that?
Yes.
Yes,
Yeah,
Okay,
That's the
cool.
purpose of public hearing. Most times people don't listen, but we will.
Oh, okay. Thank you.
Okay? Okay. Next item on the agenda would be discussion on e-waste. Okay. As you know, back in December, middle of December, the town got a letter from the county, who had been running the e-waste program since its beginning, and it was discontinued, unbeknownst to them, unbeknownst to the world, and we've not had an e-waste location for people to drop off. So time is becoming more and more of the essence. We've done a lot of research on this. The county meeting tomorrow, the shared services meeting, the county went out and asked each town to go out and get 3 bids, which I've done. And actually got a 4th one, just to, identify how much. We got it as low as 20 cents per pound. I think the largest one was 38 cents per pound. The county went out and did a similar bid, and they came in around 26 cents or 29 cents. I didn't get the final, I just got the numbers just before the meeting tonight, so I don't know the exact numbers. Now, if we share in the county's bid that they went out, and all the towns can, sign on to that particular program, it would help a lot of people. So we have to determine which is going to be best for us. If we go with the county, pay a couple pennies more to help out the other towns, which I personally would be consider and be in favor of, because at some point in time, we all have to try to work together as a team, so to speak, and that's all the towns in the county. Or if ours is at substantially lower, maybe we can get them a price we can do better.
Tony, is it confirmed when you reached out to the company asking them if they would match the 20 cents? Did they respond back? I don't remember seeing an email saying, yes, we'll honor that rate.
Well, we made phone calls, and the answer to that was yes, but they said the deal that they offered us was $1,875 per pull, which was for approximately 12, possibly 15,000 pounds. So if you can cram in up, it couldn't hold more than 15,000 pounds. 12 is a guarantee that would fit. It would be $1,875 per pull. Now, the town's bill, which we did not pay because we weren't required to pay, the county had been picking up the tab, would have been $25,000. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take the proposal, the best number we can get from the county. The only one on this one, I have to figure out pound per pound, and we might be off by a couple ounces, which I don't want to be, and make a determination of what that cost is going to be. But we should come up with the program first, and the vendor will be kind of like the last thing, because we got 3 or 4 vendors out there willing to take it on for whatever the value is. So we work on the policy, and I'll come up with the numbers, so at the next meeting, we can possibly make a determination of which vendor to possibly consider to go with.
Is there an additional benefit with going with the county aside from working together? Can we then exceed the number of pounds? Then, we may be paying more, but I'm making it up
No.
instead of the 18,000 of tonnage or whatever, or 15, can we do 20? Can we do 25?
No, basically, all the documentation leads to the fact that all the numbers are somewhat similar, the poundage is pretty much similar. The only thing is the smaller towns, okay, that don't generate as much waste. Carmel was the largest, we were the second largest, and it's also by town by population. Now, unfortunately, we never had a strict guideline by what they could drop off, who could drop off. It was open 24 hours, 7 days a week. People were dropping off junk, refrigerators, whatever. And the proposal, which I started with here, that we're going to start to discuss tonight and hopefully by the next meeting, is to determine, what we may or may not take, how we take it, et cetera.
Right.
But the only advantage the other way, could we help the other towns? But again, if it's a substantial difference to us, if we can do a better job on our own, but I can then call that company and say, look, there's, 5 other towns, because the county did not go to the vendor that has given us now what is the best price. But because they've already gone out to bid, they cannot go out and ask again, okay? Ours is kind of open, okay? So we haven't made a decision, and no one saw one other's price. And Lynn picked this up through, I guess, North Salem.
I spoke to
She found a
Warren.
proposal where they had it at 20 cents a pound for certain items and no charge for many others. And when we asked that gentleman, I called him by phone, sent him an email, and his response back, he would match what he offered to North Salem. However, he believes the $18.75 per pole, which he quoted me before we knew about that one, that it's a better deal. But we can choose.
And
Okay.
How would we measure what was going to be paying 18 cents a pound and?
You know,
We'd
18
have
cents.
to we'd have to do the separations?
No.
No.
Anything we're doing, hands off. They bring it there. If they bring something we don't take, they'll still take it, but we have to pay by the pound to get rid of it. And again, when we set this up, we're only going to be taking e-waste. People bring vacuum cleaners. When we have our pickup, our bulk pickup is every week here in this town, every Thursday. People can put it out into into their waste stream, and they pick up, the vendor picks it up. Other towns don't quite have it that way. So other towns have recycling centers, we do not. Our recycling takes place, when I say recycling, of bulk items, okay? Recycling takes place every week in every town. That's, cans, bottles, and things of that nature. But anything of a larger, like, I don't know, washing machines, dryers, they don't take tires. I mean, there's certain things they do and don't take, but every Thursday, the residents of the town of Southeast have the luxury of course, paying for it, and also picking it up at curbside. So there is an advantage. I will work on the numbers, and I'll identify the best numbers possible. And again, not knowing the exact number, because I don't want to quote the poundage, but it was over 200,000 pounds in 1 year, 220, I think was the number. I'm going to tell you right now, we're not going to be nowhere near that, because this, when we set it up, will be only for the residents of the town of Southeast.
Also, if we do the switch, or the pull as you're calling it, that's not by weight. That's a 20-foot container.
It's a container,
Right.
and he
Whatever,
estimates,
rack 'em, pack 'em, and stack 'em.
Yep.
okay, and he estimated that it would hold between 12 to 15,000 pounds.
Right.
Now, if you get something big and bulky, you could take 10 items in there, and you're paying a lot of money for nothing. So we're going to have to, pack it as tight as we can, only accept the things which we consider, what are e-waste. I mean, there's a list, which you already have. If you don't have it, put together when we make the package. It identifies what they consider electronic waste. Telephones, computers, things of that nature. So, no batteries, that's not considered electronic waste, that's still a separate item. But we would have a list of identifying what's electronic waste. And when we're talking, as we're speaking here tonight about what items, I think whatever form we come up with, we would like them to identify what they plan to drop off, but we'll get into that a little bit as we move forward. Okay? Now, I'm going to be recommending that we continue as the drop-off site of the Town Highway Garage, 10 Palmer Road. Now, the reason for that, it's a secured area. The gate is not truly locked at night, but there is a gate there. And one recommendation will be that whatever goes into this electronic bin will be locked. Now, the hours of operation, again, this is for discussion, but you have to have something on the table here this evening. I'm recommending it takes place between 10 a.m. and 2 p.m., rain or shine. To start, and if we have to have more hours, we will do it on the first and third Saturday of each month. If the date falls on a holiday, it will be held the following week. Now, the only time that won't work well is on Christmas. Now, if it happens to fall on a Christmas, then New Year's, which is the next week, is a holiday. So that's about the only time this will not work properly. Now, the site will be available only to Southeast residents, which includes the Village of Brewster. They know they're Southeast residents, but they're also the Village of Brewster. Now, the problem that we encounter here in the town of Southeast are people that live in the town of Southeast that have an address other than Brewster, New York. We have people over in Hunter's Glen that have Carmel, New York. We have people that live down on the other end of town that have North Salem addresses. And we have people in the Patterson area, like in Putnam Lake, that have Brewster, New York addresses. So it's a little bit complex in a sense. And that's why the purpose of these forms that have been recommended by, a few people. Lynn, I know you made up this one, will help with it. Eric had a similar suggestion. And, we're all a part of it. Now, how we prove people for residency, I think if we have the form the way it is, that takes care of that question. So, specifics, the container should be placed inside the gate at the highway department. Container will be locked at the close of each business day. So in other words, on a Saturday, when the workers get done with it, they lock it, and it doesn't get reopened until the following week. And we would like to have 2 cameras installed, additional, down the highway to handle this. And ladies and gentlemen, we're going to be really serious with this. There's no dumping stuff at the gate. They've been doing that for a long time, and that's why the other one got really out of hand. There was one picture, I swear to God, the stuff was, it could be as much as 30 feet past the container. And I can't find the picture to even show you. So it's going to be controlled. Before it was chaos, now it'll be controlled chaos. There'll be one fixed container, one camera on the container itself in case anyone breaks into it. Because why that container was down there were people down there stealing, which people say, oh, what's the big deal? You don't have to pay to get rid of it. Well, we weren't paying to start. However, the vendors make money on what they drop off. That's why some of the rates are a little bit lower, and they were doing what they're doing here in the county. So the bottom line is, there's no taking this electronic waste. And what a lot of people don't know, I know there's some people advertising they take electronic waste. By law in Putnam County, you cannot do that. So if you're accepting electronic waste, start thinking twice about accepting it, because according to New York, Putnam County law, you cannot do that. You have to be a licensed vendor. And as a matter of fact, the vendor that made the application to the town with the lowest rate, and they're applying for a vending license, which they don't have as yet. So if we do use them, we'd have to wait until they're approved. Okay, so 2 cameras. One will be a license plate reader. So when you come into the lot, they'll take your license plate. The form that we have, we're going to be working on that. There's a place, it's not there now, but I'll recommend that we have where the plate goes. I think Lynn, yours might have had a plate number on it originally.
Yeah, I do.
You did?
Yeah.
The new one doesn't? I'm going to increase on what we have here. We're not going to go exactly over it. That was the original. That's the original.
Okay.
That was the one.
I think this is.
Oh, no, this is the new one.
This is the one that Will
I-
has.
Yeah, but I didn't have a chance to put everything Lynn had, the suggestions I had, onto the new form, but we can do that.
Cool.
Okay? So, one would be a camera reader, it would read the license plate, and the other one would be fixed on the container, this way if it breaks in. I still haven't had an opportunity to find out how and where that could be done. I'd like it to be done remotely, the recording of it, but it may have to be done inside the building, and we have to discuss how that will be done. Again, the town board will take control of that there, and as far as the highway department itself, they have enough to do on their own. They will not have anything to do with this. It'll be all the town board and special districts, who the employees will be hired under that particular line. We're going to recommend that there be 2 part-time workers to oversee the operation. So if you know someone that's looking for a job on the first and third Saturday of each month, it'd pay between $14 to $15 an hour, and hopefully to start before June. The workers will report to work 1/2 hour before and 1/2 hour to get everything into the bin. If it takes longer, we pay them accordingly. But so they can plan their day, their week, and their agenda. And from there, that's it. So what I'd like to do then is continue working on what was recommended here this evening, discuss some of these proposals now. And then on the sheet, like I said, I'd like to have the items dropped off. And because we want to find, a lot of people could be in business and you will say like every week they're dropping stuff off, but something's not right there. The average household will maybe generate 1 or 5 items a year. But if we keep track of the way we're going to, most of this, I'm going to try to relieve the town clerk from a lot of duties. My office will handle all these forms when they come in, put them in an order. We're doing a lot with the municity. So we can have a much better organized system of tracking what's going on. So let's start with location. Highway garage?
Yeah, I'm in favor of everything, to be honest, with the exception of the form. It's not a criticism of the form. I thought the form was good. Maybe call me lazy, but if I'm going, I'm making it up, if I'm going to drop off my wife's blow dryer, and that's electronic waste, I don't want to be filling out a form. I think I can just go in there, show my ID, drop it off, be on my way, call me lazy, whatever you want to do, but that's the only thing I'm against. Everything else that you proposed, I'm good with, and obviously it's up to the majority of the board. If the board feels that you need a form, you need a form, but
A hairdryer would not be considered.
I know,
I know.
I'm trying to be facetious on purpose, I don't really want to be filling out a form to go drop,
The form
an
is,
electric toothbrush off.
no, I
Well-
think the
You know?
form is to protect the taxpayers, our residents, from having to pay for someone dumping that doesn't live in
But
Southeast.
that's why you're going to ID them with their driver's license, and now you're talking about having a
no,
camera with
we-
a license plate reader on top of everything
No,
else.
the license plate reader is only more for the
Right,
nighttime
for
events.
people
when-
illegal dumping,
Yes.
but you got a couple things already in place. I mean, as it is, I mean, when I first moved up here, it used to be once a month, I think it was, like, whatever it was, the third Saturday, 9 to 1. So of course, if you missed that, you had to wait a following month. But now I think it'll be a little bit more user-friendly, twice a month. But again, I think it's onerous enough to have to worry about, like, I can only go on the first and the third between 10 and 2. Yeah. I just don't see a need to fill out a form as well, but that's my opinion.
Okay, I personally favor we have to do something. I mean, you know, you have to come in, people have to come to fill out a burn permit. They have to come to the town hall, fill out the burn permit, go home. And I didn't want to do that. But if we download this on the internet, all they have to do is put the date, print their name, sign it. They identify the fact that they're alleging and stating that they're a resident of the town in the southeast, okay? And when they get there, they have the form. It should be like basically pre-approved. All they gotta do is hand this to the gentleman or lady that's working there that day, and they're in. So there's no need for any further whatever. If the plate number matches what they gave us, I like the checks and balances. Without it, I don't think it works as well. But that's me.
I agree with you. I think that they should fill out a form. If they go there one time and they're inconvenienced, they'll know next time that they should have downloaded the form and printed it before they went there, so that they could just bring it in, it's signed, and have written on the form what they are dumping, or what they are
Dropping off.
dropping off. And it also, I think it would be a good check, as you mentioned, for making sure that only residents were dropping off items from their home and not abusing the system and becoming like a way station for people to give it to them to bring to our recycling facility.
Now, before I go to Eric, I just want to say one thing. We're putting this together as quick as we can. It doesn't sound like it because it stopped in December, but, you know, we're at the point
This
now.
is
where
fast.
we had to do a lot of back work and homework, and all the towns right now are waiting to hear from the county's bid, okay, which we just found out numbers today. Again, the Shared Services Committee meeting was supposed to be held tomorrow. It's been postponed for at least 2 weeks. But within the next 2 weeks' time, the towns will all know, and we'll have to come back here, and you guys will all have to agree, this is what we're going to do. We're either going to go with the county's RFP that they sent out, or the ones that we sent out. And I forwarded all my information to the county so they're aware of the bid prices we got. So, and another thing, this is subject to change, okay? This is the way we started. If we find out something's not good, it needs improvement, we have every intention, I believe we all have the same intention, to make it as easy and convenient to our residents as possible, but we got to ensure that we're only taking it from the residents of the town of Southeast and not the world. Again, the $25,000 fee that we paid, that we did not pay but would have been charged for the past couple of years is a lot of money, and if we can reduce that waste by a third or half, I believe we're going to do it at least half. That's my prediction by regulating it. Eric?
I'm in favor of getting this open as soon as possible. I'm okay with the form. I would remove the license plate. You know, as long as the person there is a resident, that's fine, and I'm fine with doing this as a trial, see how it works, see if it is a problem, maybe we can enhance or remove the form down the road.
Yep.
But let's do this and get it open.
Okay, the only thing is with the license plate, we have to have, I have to,
Like, for example, you could rent a truck and drop off a giant TV. If you give photo ID, you put your name, you put your address, and you sign here, I think that should be more than sufficient.
okay, so what do we do about, how do we verify? Again, we have to think a little more how this is going to work. The bottom line is that they gave this to beforehand, which I would love to have. So when they come in, we should send this back to them. But a lot of people don't email, they don't mail. So we're going to give this form, they're going to drive into the lot, okay? With that, I guess we'd have to check the person's license or something at the time, and either write here or have them take a picture of it.
Yeah, it
Yeah.
says, please print and sign, be prepared to provide photo ID.
Yeah,
Yeah,
okay,
I'm fine with
okay.
that.
So that's,
Tony?
yes.
Also, just so you know, when you were talking about, you know, if businesses took advantage and we do want to figure that out, Warren Lucas told me they had a problem because the schools dropped off all their monitors at
Well, that
one
ain't
time.
happening.
Well, no, I mean, I want to work with everyone, but he said if they had parsed it out, it would have made a lot more sense. So there are ways to work, you know, there are ways to work on it. I also want to, can I just say that I just filled in this form, and it took 31 seconds, so I don't think.
What took us all?
I know,
Well,
I'm a
help-
very slow writer.
Help Edwin out, no.
So, no, I know what Edwin is saying, but I think what I don't want to put on the people working there is I live on Fairfield Road, Brewster, New York, but that's Patterson. So that's, I think this way you're signing something saying that you're a resident and you're putting your address in. So I feel pretty strongly about this.
Now, my idea and the way our garbage pickup is in this town, this is only for residential. It's not for schools, it is not for commercial. If you want to expand it later on and include them, maybe, but they got a ton of this stuff.
I know.
And there's a way, now what happens is every year we get the garbage contract that can't go up more than, I think, 3% in a year's time. Next year, when we send out that tax bill, we will have a better estimate what it is, and this charge will be in the tax bill under garbage pickup, even though they drop it off, just so you know. Okay, we'll work on this and fine tune it a little bit better, bring it to the next meeting based on all that we said this evening. I'll find out the prices, and then hopefully we can get this up and operational before June. Okay,
Thanks. Thanks. both
thanks
of
for
you.
everyone's
That
help
was
on
great.
that, appreciate it, and input. Okay, next item is prohibition of parking on southeast southerly portion of Railroad Avenue. In the village of Brewster, when you come to the train station, I'm telling you right now, when you want to go to the right and go down Railroad Avenue, which goes down past 1 Main Street, I'm telling you right now, I've seen more trucks jump over that curve. It's a really dangerous area, but that's Railroad Avenue. And what happens is there's Metro-North parking all along the tracks there, and then after a certain point, it turns into dirt. And what's happening, like, it's happening down in Purdy's, and that area, what is it? What's the next town? Croton Falls? They are parked all over the road. And the same is happening. So right at the village line, there's no parking signs. Once you get into the town of southeast, no parking signs disappear, and guess what? People are parking there. So I have in front of you a little map. So from the end of the village line to almost the bridge down on Railroad Avenue on the right-hand side, most of that is going to be posted, with the recommendation to be posted with no parking signs. And you have to say no parking here at the corner type thing, be as few as possible. The road there that goes to Nelson Boulevard, that will be posted as no parking as well. But there's going to be about 5 spaces, and with the map that you have in front of you there, number 4, you see number 4?
Yep.
There's an area would park about 5 cars. That will be reserved for the scenic trail, and what do they call that?
It's diverting reservoir trail.
Okay, the diverting reservoir trail, and there'll be a 3-hour posting of parking. So if someone wants to walk the trail, they won't have to worry about getting a fine or a ticket. But if someone from the city is heading down to the city and don't want to pay the fee to park their car like everybody else, and they park there, they would get a ticket. And on the opposite side, by the electric zone field, from the bridge to basically the village line, there'll be no parking between signs. Now, we're going to have no parking signs all over the world because people just don't want to pay for parking and they're going to go. But for now, this is the best that we can possibly do. So, is there anyone?
Yeah,
Let's take comments.
I think the reason that, I think Lynn brought that up and you looking at this is because those accesses to the diverting reservoir trail are also a road that the railroad has to use to have access to Metro North going down Reservoir Road or Nelson Boulevard.
And
So-
I think they're a fire
It's an
lane
issue.
too. I think the
Yeah.
fire department uses it, yes.
So we just want to prevent the parking in that area for emergency services as well, so.
Okay.
What about, this is the concern with commuters parking here?
Yeah.
Like,
Yes.
what about when there, and I don't know if there ever still is, but there's events at the Electric Zone Field? If there are.
Well, they have the other side of the road where they can do it,
Mm-hmm.
okay?
I mean, can you put
And
no commuter parking or no parking Monday through Friday?
Yeah, we could do that.
But for the events, usually, since it's a holiday, there's a lot of parking in the village lots that people
Yeah,
can use.
they can use
There's a
those.
lot of parking.
Now, again, the signs could say no parking Monday through, but you don't,
Then they're going to use, I'd like to see that, all those areas reseeded and come back. They're really a mess. It's really, really ugly. And it would be nice to, I mean, is anyone going to enforce it on?
Weekends?
On the weekends?
No, I mean, is anyone going to enforce it when it's Veterans Day or Memorial Day? I don't really, I think people
Well,
will just park there, I don't know.
That does pose a slight problem, but
Yes.
I don't know how many people park there. But on Veterans Day, the lot
All the
across the
lots
street
are
is
open, yeah.
completely
And all
open.
along the, Morningthorpe is, people park all along there.
Well, right
For those-
now.
Not
right-
now.
Yeah,
but-
right now, we're not putting any signs there now.
No, I know,
But it may be if they start parking there.
right.
And
But
then
I'm
we-
saying they can park there for.
Events.
Events,
Yeah.
yeah.
Now, we can't put a sign up for special events, but
Say event parking.
the gist of it.
Yeah, that's fine.
Okay, so should I continue moving along with, working with Will to write this up?
I think so, it's up to the rest of the board.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, I think Will had suggested we make it part of the code
Yes.
so that it's enforceable.
Will loves when we do all this stuff, it's extra work.
He already did the extra work.
No, I mean, what happened is what happened is when Brewster put up their signs, then we got the brunt of everything, understandably so, but I think we need to.
Edwin, you okay with that?
Yes.
Okay. It'll be on the next agenda, written up, and then we'll have to have a public hearing on that, most likely. No, wait, there's no public hearing on that one. Okay. I will now make a
No, that
motion.
would, Tony, that would be a
That
required
is.
public hearing.
Is it?
It's
Yeah.
an
Oh, that's a
amendment
code.
to the provisions of the town code.
Okay.
Set it
So-
for public hearing.
Okay, so we'll put it to the next work session, and then we'll decide then to the public hearing date. Okay, make a motion now to go into the regular meeting portion.
Second?
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, first one is a resolution, Putnam County Real Property Tax Services. Now therefore be resolved that the supervisor is hereby authorized to execute and deliver to the County of Putnam County Real Property Tax Service contract for 2019 tax year in the form and substance annexed hereto, and be further resolved that the town clerk shall forward a copy of this resolution to the assessor forthwith. So move for discussion.
Second.
Discussion. All in favor? Aye. Okay, number two, it's a resolution, to grant easement Sunset Ridge Southeast Executive Park. Okay. Now, those of you, this is, Southeast Executive Park is located up on Route 312, it's what they consider the glass building. They're very, very successful. The parking is pretty poor at the moment, and the town has worked out a partnership with them. The town will gain some spaces when they have events, and they will gain approximately 70 spaces every day that they're doing business. They're very successful, and they need help, and the town is offering that help. Now therefore be resolved that the town supervisor is hereby authorized to execute and deliver any and all documentation necessary and proper to convey and receive such temporary and permanent easements as to permit the owners of Southeast Executive Park to construct and maintain the parking lots, driveways, and drainage facilities, portions of which shall be located upon town property as herein before described, and to allow the town permanent access to the parking facilities located in the Southeast Executive Park property in such form and substance, and may be approved by the town attorney. And be further resolved that the foregoing grant of permit easement is subject to permissive referendum in accordance with town law. And be further resolved that the town clerk is hereby authorized and directed to post a copy of the notice of adoption of this resolution on the official sign board of the town of Southeast, and cause a copy thereof to be published in the town's official newspaper forthwith. So move for discussion.
Second.
Okay, so some brief discussion. This is subject to permissive referendum, and on an additional, I have an asterisk next to it, there's a notice, a public notice about this taking place, which we have to post, and that will be done accordingly. So it's not like we can snap our fingers and get this done, unfortunately, but we have to go to permissive referendum by law. Are you gentlemen here to speak to that?
Alan Getz,
If you just come up to the mic, because normally we don't allow the comment, but since you're here and I see a board, will waive the rules and let him speak for the moment?
Yeah, sure.
All in favor?
Of course.
Aye. Okay, go ahead.
so first, I want to thank you all for your help in getting this done. There are a lot of moving parts. There was a lot of coordination over many years, and I'm thankful that we're finally at this point and we're ready to get this underway. As part of this process, we are going to be generating fill, and some of that fill can be applied to the site where the town has its recreation area for future use as recreation fields, and that's something that we would like you to take under consideration as we get this project underway.
I have spoken to Tom Fenton about that, and I would suggest if you have an opportunity to speak to him as well. He pretty much is the town engineer. We have no idea what's going to be with the site. If there's a way we can accept that fill, we know where it's coming from, because it's coming from our property, so we know it's kind of good. So if you can make any plan or what you propose to do with Tom Fenton so he can make it to this, in this board to discuss, I believe we'd be in favor of it.
Okay, that's great, thank you.
And just do it ASAP.
Okay, and as far as, we'd love to get the work underway. If this is advanced to a point where we can get the building department to issue the permit, everything has been filed and ready to go, that would be fabulous.
Well, we stated earlier, we're going to do everything we can to expedite it, but unfortunately, we have to go with the law, okay? So it's going to be a little bit of time. Do what you can in the meantime on your property. Wait for us to say, go.
Okay, and that process is, I'm sorry, I missed what.
It's a permissive referendum. Anytime the town grants possessory interest in town-owned property, the action of the town board is subject to what is known as a permissive referendum. So that it's not a mandatory referendum, it's if someone challenges the action, they would have to circulate a petition, and it's quite a process. They'd have to get a significant number of signatures on that petition, file it with the town clerk within 30 days, and it has to be in a proper form and have a sufficient number of signatures. If that doesn't get filed in 30 days, then the action is approved as a matter of law. If they do file a petition, then there would have to be an election held to determine whether or not the easement is granted. I don't know that there's any great hue and cry about this particular project. I think everybody in the community knows how hard it is to find a parking space at the Green Glass Building. I go to Caramount myself, and I've had some trouble. So I doubt that that's going to be a problem. And certainly, if you want to, obviously, if you wanted to go ahead and start work, you have that authority. But it could be at your peril if someone were to ultimately file a referendum, and it would be successful in defeating the action of the town board.
Okay, and if we wanted to get the work underway during this 30-day waiting period, could we get the permit issued notwithstanding that?
Yes, I believe you can. We have the bonds. I've reviewed the bond, and the bond is satisfactory. But again, you could start getting the work done, and if for some reason a referendum were filed and properly and
Right.
it
I mean,
would be defeated. It would be
at this point, this is, everybody knows how bad this is.
Yeah.
Every day that goes by is unsafe. So
We-
if it
we
would
know
be
it better than
possible for
most.
us to get some directive at least to the building department to release that permit, I'm willing to get that going right away with your permission.
Have you submitted the certificate of insurance? I get
Yes,
so many certificates.
yes.
I
As far
did
as
get it.
I know, the package that was submitted for the permit is complete, so we should be ready to go.
Okay, so that's up to the town attorney.
Okay,
We're at his beck and call.
okay.
Well,
They wouldn't have filed the insurance.
Tony, while
Yes.
we're under discussion, someone asked me the other day if the town will be expending any money on this?
No.
Okay, and if
We
if
wouldn't
it's-
have a deal if we were, trust me.
I know, and that it's very clear, that it looks to be in here, but that the
All
owners,
maintenance,
all maintenance.
They're responsible for everything.
Okay. And what happens, and I'm just asking, please forgive me, but if it falls into disrepair, the parking lot? I know, but do we have,
Recourse?
yes,
I don't think you'd have
We
any
have the same
customers.
recourse that you would have if you were any other member of the public. That you granted an easement, the easement was subject to their maintenance.
okay,
If we went in and fixed it ourselves, we'd charge it back to the responsible party.
okay,
And maybe someday we'll own that building, because we could use it.
okay.
So don't default.
Good. Well,
We need a new building.
So that's in perpetuity as far as the maintenance and
correct.
all, okay, thank you.
And thank you for clarifying that, because when I read that one little line there one day, say something about town of Southeast, said, no, but you cleared it up real quick, thank you.
Sure. Well,
Okay.
thank you all again, and...
I think you have a map there you just want to show
Oh,
if
yeah,
you want
if
for
we
a
could show
moment.
this, that'd be great.
Hi, John Lepler, Ecosite Development. I'll be doing the excavation for this project, and I'm not used to holding the board up here. It's different. So,
You know, we pretty much know where it is. Why don't you
this is,
show
show
more
the-
to, we
okay.
know, show the public.
so what we're proposing, the town, several years back, they were looking into create a field to put a building up, to put soccer fields, just a multi-use field. And what we're proposing is to take the dirt that we're excavating out and start creating the field for the town at no cost to the town. It's going to be, everything will be leveled out according to what the town engineer and what we discussed. DEP is okay with this. We already got permission. And we're just looking for the town to say, go for it.
Okay, thank you. Okay, any other discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Good luck.
You need a second to it.
I didn't get a second?
No.
Ah, I was doing everything. Okay, I need a second.
I'll second.
Okay. All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you again. So this will be posted immediately, and we'll speak with the building inspector to do what they have to do behind the scenes. Thank you. Okay, number 3. It's a resolution utility Foster Farm, public, Putnam County waiver request, noise code. I'm going to make a motion to table that this evening.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
We're going to do a follow-up letter with the county tomorrow. They'll be aware of what we're planning. Okay, number 4, it's a resolution, appointment Brewster Public Library. I forgot the word library, sorry about that. Board of Trustees. Okay, now therefore be resolved that the town board of the town of Southeast hereby appoints Jackie Bossinault, Boissonnault, as trustee of the Brewster Public Library for a term ending December 31st, 2023, and be further resolved that the appointment shall take effect immediately, and that all actions taken by said trustees in her official capacity prior to this formal appointment are hereby ratified and approved, non pro tunc.
I'll second.
Discussion. All in favor? Aye. Number 5, it's a appointment of a special prosecutor for People versus Santucci. Now therefore be resolved that the town board of the town of Southeast hereby appoints Laura Roberts, Esquire, 37 Fair Street, Carmel, New York, 10512, as special counsel, town prosecutor, in connection with the matter People versus Dennis Santucci, alleging violations of Town Code, Chapter 60, dogs, and authorizes such special prosecutor to fully investigate such alleged violation and to commence, recommence, or continue such criminal and civil proceedings as might be necessary to secure full, fair, and equal enforcement of laws in connection therewith, and be further resolved that the special town council prosecutor shall be compensated at a rate of $150 per hour for attorney time and shall be reimbursed for all necessary disbursements made on behalf of the town. So move for discussion.
Second.
Discussion. All in favor? Aye. Number 6,
I'm sorry.
What?
We would have to appoint a special prosecutor because, or,
the town attorney,
Town
who's
attorney.
normally the prosecutor, had to recuse himself.
okay, cool.
Okay, number 6, resolution parking code enforcement officer appointment of Chris DeBellis. Now therefore be resolved that the town board of the town of Southeast hereby appoints Chris DeBellis as a part-time parking and code enforcement officer for the town of Southeast. Hereby confirming upon him all the powers and duties necessary and proper to enforce the various codes and regulations regulating conduct within the town set forth in the code of the town of Southeast, including such powers that may be necessary and proper to investigate alleged or suspected violations of the town code and parking regulations, to file process in the local justice court necessary and proper to commence criminal proceedings therein, and do such other or different actions necessary and proper to enforce and adjudicate alleged violations of the town code, all in accordance with applicable laws and procedures. So move for discussion.
Second.
Just so you know, we'll be watching now on the weekends. We have some violations that take place, and this gentleman's being hired for evenings and weekends duties only. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. I would like to waive the, make a motion to waive the rules this evening. I have a motion, it has to do with the DASNY grant for Peaceville Hill Water District for the $100,000. So on the motion to waive the rules,
I'll second.
all in favor?
Aye.
Okay, with that, I make a motion to put it on the agenda.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay. Now therefore be resolved that the difference between the total project cost and the DASNY grant amount will be funded by bond anticipation notes issued by the town of Southeast, and be further resolved that any and all actions heretofore taken in connection with securing the necessary financing for Peaceville Hill Water District Improvement Project are hereby ratified and confirmed non pro tum. So move for discussion.
I'll second.
Okay, just briefly for discussion, we apply, Kevin Byrne got a $100,000 grant for this particular district, and we are put through the same motions for $100,000 if it were $3.6 million. So this is one of the things that was required for us to submit to them to make the application complete. All in favor?
Aye.
Okay. Public comment? Town board comment?
The only thing I have is I wanted to remind folks of the, I'm sorry, I left my reading glasses at work, but the Bob Palmer project that's going to occur at the end of the month on April 27th. It takes place every year, and the location will be at Milltown Cemetery at 900 hours or 9 a.m. in the morning, and in the afternoon, the location will be at St. Lawrence O'Toole Cemetery at 1 p.m. or 1300 hours. So just wanted to remind folks if you can go out there and participate.
It's a very busy weekend. That's our townwide cleanup. So I plan to do Bob Palmer Day in the afternoon and clean up in the morning. It's both Saturday, Sunday. I will be in front of 67 Main Street. Also, the village is participating. So even if you've only got an hour, give us an hour of cleanup time. I'm distributing vests, safety vests, gloves, and bags, orange bags. And so a lot of the roads can really use help this year. So we'd appreciate your help. Thank you.
Okay, and it's a great opportunity for everyone that seems to sometimes complain that, you know, the roads are dirty. Come out and help us. We do try to do the best we can all year long, and this is a time that everyone can help.
Yeah, it'd be great.
And be careful. It's-
Yes.
The roads are
Busy.
dangerous, and
Okay, I got a couple quick items. We've asked now, probably for the past 5 years, for people to sign up for notices from the town. Now, when I was reporting on this, I haven't given you a number in quite some time. It's been at least 3 years, when we had 5. We're up to 265. We got 19,000 residents. Ladies and gentlemen, sign up for these notices. If you want to know what's taking place here at this town board, you can get copies of the agenda. People are interested in something like Interstate Logistics, which has a new name, and I don't remember what it is, but it's the same thing.
Commercial
downsized.
campus at Fields Corner.
Yeah. Same thing, it's been downsized somewhat. Please, sign up for it. If you really want to know what's going on in town, you want to receive the information, please, just sign up. 265, let's make it more. Again, we have it there for you. Please use it. Because I always get complaints, you know, how do you find out? Sign up.
how do you do that?
Go on the webpage.
Go on the website?
Southeast-ny.gov, and just sign up for notifications. And you can have anything you want. And especially if you live in a water district or in a sewer district, like people in Brewster Heights, any water and sewer district, you should sign up. Because if the plant goes down, there's any kind of, anything that happens, you will be notified immediately as soon as we know. Otherwise, we have to post signs on the roads and et cetera. It takes time. You can know immediately. As soon as we know, you would know. So water and sewer districts specifically, sign up. All the other residents, sign up as well. Just a reminder, there's no burning still, May 15th. You can't burn until May 15th. That's on behalf of the town clerk. Okay, so no burning now until May 15th. And again, a call to start numbering your homes, 911 numbering, please. Look at your house. If you can't see the number, the fire department can't see it, medical personnel can't see it when they get there, do it. And if you live about 10 miles off the road, put it down by your driveway, put it on your mailbox, put some kind of identification, your house 911 number, so people can see it. With that, I'll entertain a motion.
I'll make a motion to close tonight's meeting.
Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Thank you for all coming.